Greetings. Welcome to yet another bing bing bong bing ding ding bing shing bing ding ding. Uh Today I want to talk about I want to showcase something I've been working on, which is camera centering. And so there's been some scripts in the past that have done this, but they kind of just reworked the entire camera system. And I really think that there should be one that's more vanilla friendly and more in line with like how GTA 5's cameras is. But in this game it's kind of simple, which it's not a bad thing. It's actually pretty good, but uh, yeah, I think it's nice to have the option to change it, and so now I'm gonna be adding it to Liberty Tweaks. And also, I'm very curious if people prefer to have videos where I like talk or ones where I just showcase it. And so just let me know in the comments if you'd like. Anyway, let's go ahead and showcase this feature. So, it looks normal right now, and that's because I have a blicky on me. But if I go to this, now it's centered. Now it's not perfect. For example, the camera height is changed, and I would like for it to be lower. But and another thing is, if you rotate the camera, you can see it gets kind of wonky. Which this does happen in GTA 5 actually, like when you're in cars. If you try to look behind, your camera is slightly offset, but I will iron that out eventually, I reckon. But yeah, if you use a gun, there's an option to disable the camera centering, and it'll just kind of go between them. You can also disable it for in combat and shit. So I disabled it so when you have a gun, it's still centered, and so while you aim, as you can see, it's like different. And you can still use the shoulder swap thing. It's not perfect though. But yeah, I mean the plus side with using this is that you can actually see more of Nico, which can be more immersive. Like right here, I do like this camera angle. I think this camera angle is pretty cool. But when you shoulder swap, it's like too far, and the camera should be a little bit lower. But anyway, that's about it for the on foot one. And again, you can disable it when you're in combat, so you don't have to deal with that shit. But the car one is the main reason why I made this feature. It's pretty cool. So here we are, it's centered. And just like while on foot, if you move your camera, it's not offset properly. Let's go ahead and just let's do a little driving around, see how it goes. Now there's a lot of camera tilt and rotation in Liberty Tweaks if you didn't know that. Yeah, you can see it's relatively smooth. And if you try to use, as you see, if you try to drive by, it goes to the vanilla. Now, I would have an option to disable this, but the reason why I do that is because camera alterations, the crosshair doesn't actually I guess, adapt to how the camera is unless you're aiming, like if you're locked onto someone, which I find really dumb, and there's gotta be a way to fix it. If I aim at him, you can see how the crosshairs right there, right? But if I use this, it's right there. Like, see how it gets offset? The lock on is actually proper. The vanilla camera is still really cool, and honestly, if I ever replay this game, I'm probably not even gonna use the centered camera. But the option, like I said, the option is really nice to have. But yeah, now the camera feels like a lot like the Mafia games. If you've ever played them, especially like the first game remake, it feels a lot like that camera. Which the camera work in that game is so fucking underappreciated. Let me just yeah. The camera work in that game is so underappreciated. Like, now in case you're wondering, like if you don't really like how the camera is like moving all the time and how it's super dynamic, maybe you have motion sickness or you just prefer the simple camera work in the regular game. So we're gonna see how it looks without that. I actually haven't seen it myself, so I'm curious. Okay, so this is how it looks without the extra rotation and shit. Shut your eyes up. And as you can see, it still feels like vanilla, you know, it's just centered, which I really tried to aim for. What I think I'm going to do is that whenever the camera gets offset, like over here, whenever it's not in line with the vehicle's direction, I'll probably have it like scale back, which will, one, fix this problem, but it will also make this smoothing, this weird effect, like this shit that I'm talking about. I mean, it's not bad, but one of the reasons why I love the vanilla camera is because it doesn't do that shit. It's just super sharp, super responsive. But with this, it's like it's got this smoothing effect, and I don't really like that personally. Another thing I might do is that whenever it detects a camera movement like this, it'll like while it's doing that, it's just gonna be the vanilla camera. So like while I'm moving the camera like this, it won't be centered until I let go of it for a few seconds or something, and then it'll go back to the centered camera. Honestly, it just kind of depends. Like some people are gonna use this for immersion, like me, but other people are gonna use it so they can drive faster, or not drive faster, but like drive better in combat scenarios. Because some people really don't like the offset in the regular game because it's harder to actually like see. Like if the camera's like all the way over here, you can't really see what's going on the right side. Hopefully that makes sense, but you kind of have to account, like when you're making shit like this, you have to account for shit like that. So now it's some time later, and I've actually added this feature. What I did was I basically made it so when the camera is centered, like when it's the same heading, like when it's pointed towards where the car is pointing, it will be centered, but when you move it, it stops doing that. It goes back to the vanilla movement. And this actually looks it looks a lot better on, ooh, that guy almost killed me. It looks a lot better on foot. So like you'll be walking straight, it's nice, and then you go back, and it's the vanilla. Like this doesn't even look like a mod, but then you go over here, and it's back to that shit. I also might make the camera movement, like, I was thinking, after I recorded the last part, to handle that smoothing thing, like you can kind of see it here, is I'm just going to make the speed configurable. So this is the script, and there's a part here it is, where it will basically, this is the smoothing, like this is basically the part where it will smooth all of the camera, like it, basically what the script does is it's always, like every single frame or tick, it's adjusting the camera position. And so you have to smooth it out or it's going to look very, rigid. And so I'm going to showcase what I'm talking about by upping the speed a shit ton. Here we go. The easiest way to showcase what I'm talking about is by drive-by. As you can see, it's very quick. But as you can see, it also makes the camera not so smoothed out. Which I was actually going to make a feature where all camera, like if you're moving your camera, it makes it really smooth. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because of the Minecraft cinematic mode. Like, I've never seen that feature in any other game, and I think it's so fucking cool. Like, you're moving your camera, and it's, like, super smoothed out. I think it's really cool. But, yeah, so I'm going to probably have this speed configurable for the players, so if they dislike how it makes the camera all smooth and shit, they can fix that. But I think I'm just going to keep it like this by vanilla, because it feels the most smooth while also feeling quite, yeah. But yeah, if you have any feedback or ideas for this feature, let me know in the comments. And anyway, well,